Thank you, man. It was good. Awesome. Good. Thank you. Explain. So let's see. See anybody in the group? Somebody's not coming on February 6th. Everybody's coming. Only you two. Oh, so all the rest of the group is coming on February 6th, right? Only two of you. Okay, that's easy. Oh, three. Okay, GB. Okay. Oh, that's quite well easy. Okay, I can do it. Only so I need to set up goals for only three of you. Right? That's easy. So let's do one thing, guys. Andrzej is waiting. So once he's done, let's go with you guys. And the rest we'll try to do as much as we can because today we ran late because of the weather and there was a big accident on 91. So I think the next thing, the part 2 we are doing on February 6th, we should have plenty of time. We should start earlier. Hopefully the weather is good. No snow or ice, who knows, right? So okay, I'm now introduce the next speaker today, which is Andrzej. Hold on. Send me something. Andrzej? Yeah. So your phone is. So I like to invite the next speaker of today. So my phone has some problem. Okay. So his resume is pretty long. I think I'll be spending next 5 minutes just reading about your resume. Okay, he's a complete technologist, software systems engineer, architect, real estate investor, 25 years in network, software, business systems engineering, architecture, principal solutions architect at a Fortune 20 company, CEO of Next Door Property. What do they do? What do they do next door?
Cash on buy, wholesaler.
Oh, cash on buy. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
so I started
interesting.
last year.
Wow. Okay. So and also he does syndication GP at Centurion Legacy Partners. So you did deals on GP on out of state.
Where we have a few that we're LOIing right now, we're been kind of trying to build up.
Wow. Okay. Impressive. Yeah, your resume is long. I can keep reading.
This year.
Yeah, welcome board. Yeah, so let's give a big welcome to Mr. Andrzej. Come on, Andrzej. Thank you. It's all yours, yeah.
Okay, so now that everybody's eaten, you could take a nap. This has nothing to do with real estate, but it might have to do with jobs, because AI is coming. It's going to take over everybody's jobs. We're all going to be in little vats in the computers. They're going to run the world and stuff. Who knows about AI? Is this something new to everybody, or is this artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence has been around for a few years now, decades even. People have been doing this since the 90s. As soon as computers were starting to get built, people were already building complex programs, trying to make them as human as possible. Somewhere around the 90s, we were building neural nets, we were using trading programs, things were kind of taking a big kind of leap, and then we hit a brick wall. And then around the early 2000s, a whole bunch of computer engineers said, we don't know how to build the next level of AI. You just can't keep throwing computing power at it. So what they did was, they basically went to a bunch of neuroscientists and said, how do brains work? And this was like this cross collaboration, because software engineers, they think like they know everything. This is how the world works. I can just program anything. They can't. They basically talked to a bunch of neuroscientists, neurologists, and then tried to model what they did. And then as soon as they did that, there was just this explosion in artificial intelligence advancements. Google was building TensorFlow. There were a whole bunch of open source programs, but it was still just machine learning. It was very limited. There were expert systems, but not taking the next level. So about that time, I was working for a company, and for Pratt & Whitney, we built a application that could read 1,000-page documents and then identify if there was any classified information. With Pratt & Whitney, they built engines, but they built them for commercial and military use. So they had these people that would scan line by line every document, 1,000 pages at a time, to identify if this is a classified document, so they separate it away, or if it's just commercial hardware. And so we built an application that was 90% confident on whether a document was classified just by certain terms in there. certain parts being connected to each other. Because Pratt & Whitney will take engines, strip out components, and now it can just be put on a regular jet or a regular aircraft. It's not a military piece of hardware anymore. But the thing is, it still came from a military equipment. So this is the whole need. Now, at the time, the executives at Pratt & Whitney said, no, we want 100% confidence. And we had to try to explain to them, it doesn't work that way. It's always a degree of confidence, it's always a chance. And the best, because their whole point was, we're gonna take away jobs. We're gonna get all these bears, the people who actually read these documents, and we wanna basically just unemploy them. And we said, no, AI is a tool. It is not a job taker. You basically get it to do the confidence scores, and anytime it flags a document, then you get that bear to go read that one section. They don't have to read 1,000 pages, just go to that one page, that one sentence. Read that, identify it, tell the AI, good job, or smack it on the head and tell it, no, try again. And then you improve the AI over time. They didn't know how to basically recognize the value of AI. And then over the years recently, we've started to get there when like advancements in large language models happened. Now, everybody thinks that, oh, now they're human, that now we're getting to general intelligence and it's gonna be iRobot and they're gonna basically start taking jobs. It's still not there yet. And honestly, AI is never gonna take our jobs. What you should be worried about is not the AI taking our jobs, but the people who learn how to use AI taking our jobs. Now, how many people work in kind of like an information type job here? Okay, so everybody always thought that it's gonna be like the Jetsons. You're gonna have a robot that's gonna be a maid, it's gonna do all this cleaning and stuff. That is the hardest type of job for AI to replace because it's hardware. You basically have to build a program, you gotta stick it, you have to build a piece of hardware, you gotta test it. If the hardware isn't working, you gotta rebuild that hardware. That's a lot of money and resources that has to go into it. But software moves fast. Like I can build a program in hours or days. I can tell ChatGPT right now to build me a program, and it can do it lightning fast. And that's the jobs that are gonna get displaced. Those are the jobs that if you're not using AI in your job to basically automate a lot of your tasks, you're going to basically get replaced by someone who can. Like right now in my job, like I work in software management and I had to build a corporate policy around, I'm gonna use a whole bunch of computer lingo, like Kubernetes AKS clusters and how to basically containerize applications on there and like just policies around that. Now normally I would have to go do some research, I would have to build a document, I'd have to present it to a few people, it would take me about a week or two, yada yada, the kind of the corporate back and forth. I built that in 10 minutes, and it was a detailed document. I didn't tell anybody that I was using ChatGPT to do it, but I presented it. They thought it was the most thorough analysis of application containerization they have ever seen. I brought it up to my leadership, they loved it, and it just got it, and I did it all in like 15 minutes, cleaned it up a little bit, but honestly, I was able to get my job done in 10 minutes. And that was the moment, that was the epiphany where I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get out of IT. I need to go find a job where my skills could be leveraged rather than being in a place where I could easily be displaced. So that's kind of why I'm here. Thankfully interest rates went up and gave me another reason to try to get into real estate. So how am I using it right now? So I have a wholesaling business. So I basically, I buy houses for cash. I'm going out, doing marketing, started with mailers, and because that was like the easiest and fastest thing to do, just to take action, get it out there. It's a slow process because it takes a lot of mailers before people start reaching back out to you. And then I got into SEO because I've been on the internet since 1987. Or actually, I was in computers since 1987. I was on like GopherNet, ARPANET. Before there was an internet, I was backlinking and connecting to other websites. So I've been able to leverage that to kind of build my credibility in my website and kind of gain a lot of traction very quickly. Other ways I've gained traction and being able to kind of build my authority, because Google has bots crawling the internet to just determine your credibility and determine how you should rank. I built 3 different personas. They are all bloggers. They were built in ChatGPT. They have their own writing styles. They blog on Blogger, ActiveRain, and Newsbreak. They write articles about real estate, Connecticut real estate, Massachusetts real estate, foreclosure, probate. They link to articles. They link back to my website. I get maybe about 4,000 views a week on those, and they're completely fake people. Their picture profiles I generated in DALL-E, and they're just basically different versions of my own face. And that's it. And as far as people, I know they're fake. They're not real people, but honestly, they have their own little lives. I have one guy who basically had a struggling situation where his parents died and he had 2 mortgages, and now he didn't know what to do, and basically got introduced to a cash buyer to sell his house fast. And he basically pointed to a specific street in New Haven that was actually real. And every time I write another article, he keeps going back to that street in New Haven. And it scares me because it's almost like he has his own little life. Like the more articles he writes, the more he remembers, and he keeps building on top of it. He's not real, he's just a bot, but the thing is, it's getting to that level where every so often they're like these little simulations, and when you can't tell whether they're human or not, and you start to question it, that's when it gets a little worrisome. Like right now, they ran ChatGPT through a verbal IQ test score, tester, and it has an equivalent IQ of like 155. That's the level of intelligence that it's communicating at. Whether it's actually intelligent or not, that's years from now, because we're kind of in this generative level, which is like they're no smarter than maybe like a dog or like a 3-year-old child. They can do tasks. They'll go off crazy. Like at one moment, they might be kind of doing a task, and all of a sudden, nope, I want to go play with this toy. And you have to kind of correct them, and you have to retrain them and keep them on task and stuff. But like I said, the IT space and any information, jobs that you're kind of in, you talk about accounting, bookkeeping, taxes. These are all things that an AI can do, and an AI could probably do better than a human and faster. And that's about 80% of the US workforce that's going to get impacted by it. Now, it's not going to take jobs, but again, it's just going to take away all those tasks. So this would be like the best time to learn AI quickly, learn how to use ChatGPT or Bard or something, how you can actually incorporate it into your day-to-day. Like if you could take an OM from a real estate listing, and then just link it to ChatGPT and say, please underwrite this. And it tells you what the NOI is. You link it to city data, and it's able to pull rents. So it tells you, these are the market rents. This is the actual rents. Here's what you can actually value add on this. This is what your average rate of return will be. Like people are actually doing this right now. And these are the people that are gonna beat you to the underwriting. They're gonna get LOIs out faster. Like, if it takes you a week to do an LOI and they can do one 15 minutes from the listing and actually have a better deal than you, it's, they're always going, the whole pace of everything is just gonna keep moving faster and faster like this. So, so I talked about the hardware. So right now, what they're doing for defenses against this, like, everybody's so afraid of this that I think like Reddit and New York Times, I think, were 2 companies that locked away their APIs, and they're now all of a sudden shutting down access to their data because they're so afraid of the AI learning off of that data that they're now starting to paywall it. Like Elon Musk's solution for Twitter or X is, I'm gonna make every account require $1 to be active or to post, because that's his way of protecting against the bots. Because when people can create thousands of bots that start posting like crazy, the best way to slow them down is to make it expensive. like really, really costly for them to do. It's a great quick solution for it. It's not a good long-term solution, because what it does is it also kind of isolates a lot of people that makes it inaccessible. So the better long-term solution, or really have them in tandem, is have credibility and authority, aged accounts. You basically are born with a Twitter account, you're born with a Facebook account, that thing matures with you, and its credibility increases the longer you actually own that thing. So, and that's something that, you know, the botnets can't actually replicate. So you can have one of two things: pay for it, or just be around long enough. Because, I mean, that's how we build credibility. You know, we're around a long time. You know, a year ago, I wouldn't be speaking here. Nobody would know who I am, but I built enough credibility in the community that now I'm all of a sudden talking about AI to a bunch of real estate investors. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. So here's the thing about the next step in AI is, I work for a company. We have our own internal AI models and you know, I can't say what we're using it for, but these models, we're not the only one. McDonald's is doing it, Exxon is doing it. They're building these internal models with all the information, internal information about that corporation built into it, so that you can ask any question to that thing. Eventually, as AI advances, as it gets bigger, it gets more complicated and gets smarter, eventually corporations do become people. You know, once we get to the point where we get to that general AI that is like as smart as a human, now you have a corporation that has at its center this entity that basically is self-aware. It knows everything about the corporation, and it starts basically making decisions about the corporation. It starts dictating, well, no, I'm not going to give you this information, this salary information about so-and-so, or I think that the next, you know, 3 months is going to be this, so we should start on this initiative. Eventually, it's the CEOs and the CIOs and all of them are taking a back seat to the AI, because the AI is able to make large, complicated decisions around a tremendous amount of data better and easier than any human CEO can do. And plus, they're probably going to do it a lot cheaper, because eventually that AI will cost less than the billions of dollars that a CEO is getting paid. So this is where we're kind of going. You know, there's going to be a lot of ethical challenges and legal challenges. When a self-driving car is going down the road and it has to make a decision whether killing the driver or those 3 kids that are crossing the street, you know, what does it do? Does it go and say, well, the driver's net worth is like $40 million. They have a better value towards the society than these 3 children, but the children have an opportunity to become multi-billionaires. So what do? Do I run into the telephone pole, or do I mow down the 3 children? And the thing is, that might be a US standard, but what is a German standard? What is a Japanese standard? What is a Saudi Arabian standard? It's like everybody has different ethics, and they're all going to be competing against each other. It's like everybody has a different value for human life. So these are things that they're constantly fighting, because, you know, they have to program this into those AI. So, I mean, in the end, I'm not going to even go into the fake. You know, I'm already doing a lot of fake and, you know, misinformation with all these blogging posts. I'm not going to go into the politics of it, because that's a whole other topic that's going to take about an hour. So, I mean, I'll just kind of leave it up to questions and just basically say that, you know, AI is not going to take over. It's a useful tool. We're going to basically live with it for generations, but the value from these things is going to be tremendous. I mean, there's a potential for a lot of people in this room to actually live over 100, maybe even 150, because like right now, some of the things that they're doing with human to computer integration and life extension through like just protein foldings, it's mind-boggling. And AI are literally just cranking these things out. They just run it against, you know, like these, you know, they're doing these experiments, and they're just finding new solutions that humans would take generations to figure out. Curiosity, questions?
Any questions for you? Good, that's a good topic.
Oh,
If I wanted to implement it in my 9-to-5 role,
yeah.
how do you like get started? We just hired like a BI expert, and that's my lateral. So
Yeah.
I just met with her today, so I can help merchandising that sort of level, like in a big way for Foster Grip, but I wanna collect all of our data in a better way, like AI could be that source.
Yeah, like, I mean,
How do you
you have a
start?
mountain of data about your products.
Right.
Internal, you have like your past customers and what they have
All the
actually.
projects and all the
Right.
instructions and all of that, it's so manual and it's all over the place, it's a hot mess.
Yeah, so the great thing is that what you actually have is a lot of like big data. It's just like a mess of like, and it's like a
Yeah.
if you could get that model to just basically, you put it all in a Google Drive and just link it to that folder and let it kind of grind through that, it will pull the data, information out of it. There's a whole, I mean, this goes back even before like the big advancements in AI, but like big data, which is kind of like, you know, you've got pictures, you've got files, you have spreadsheets, you've got notes, some Word documents, some
Yeah.
Google Docs, and there was always this kind of trying to merge that data. You can actually have AI basically go into a folder and pull that data out.
We use
Like,
a lot of pictures and data.
yeah,
All
like-
of it, it's just so much.
like right now, I could basically take the Odyssey, I can take, you know, I don't know, like Chris Voss has Never Split the Difference, and I don't know, The Great Gatsby. I can link to all of them and then tell an AI, write me a 500-page book that basically creates a brand new piece of fiction from these as a reference, and do it in the writing style of Ernest Hemingway. And then I could publish that onto Amazon, and maybe that's a big hit. If that's not, I'll mix it up again and keep mixing it up until I eventually basically have a marketable book. But that's the thing, you can pull that data out of it by just linking it to the folder and just asking questions.
Are there people that like do that are like having
There are,
data
there's-
come and consult on that?
Oh, there are. Yeah, I mean, you can find them everywhere. It's, well, not everywhere, but they're, I mean, I could talk to you on the side about like,
We wanna like reinvest in technology.
yeah, and this is the best thing to reinvest in, you know.
When you say that you could, you know, link it to an AI, are you talking ChatGPT or like other AIs?
Oh, any of them. Like right now,
What are the main
I'll just
ones?
say that there's Bard, there's Claude, there's ChatGPT. There is a browser plugin called harpa.ai, HARPA.ai. Put it into your browser, it'll link to ChatGPT or Bard or and it has a lot of quick like buttons like rewrite this article, do this. You know, I could go Google sell my house fast in Hartford, take the top link, which is the best performing in that area, tell Harpa AI, you know, it literally it has a prompt in there to rewrite this article to beat this article in SEO, and it will do it. And I'm checking to see what the results are, but we'll see what happens. But that's just it. I have leads coming in into my email box, and I have a browser plugin that will read anything that has like a code that I put in the subject line of it. And when it reads that, I have that ChatGPT, well, it's just called a GPT, but that GPT, I fed it a lot of information about Chris Voss. I fed it a lot of information like books, Never Split the Difference, NLP, NLPQ, and I created what is called a simulacrum. I said, okay, you are an expert in hostage negotiation. This is your expertise, da 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 da. Now what I want you to do is respond to these emails and use emojis, and it responds to them. So I don't even write emails to any of my leads. So as soon as the lead comes in, I'm sending emails out through that. I haven't done it with text yet, but you know, at least with emails, it's responding. And to be honest, I've been firing these emails off myself personally, writing them and taking 5-10 minutes to try to write the most targeted email. And the ones that have the best response rate is the one that it's writing. And it infuriates me, but you know, honestly, I'm working with a company right now that actually has an AI bot that actually cold calls. And they just started beta testing it in December. And it has And based on their numbers with the 3 other people that they're working with, it's basically costing them about $20 per lead. And I've listened to the audio calls and I'm thinking, okay, this is an AI, it's talking to a person. These people are gonna know it's an AI, and they're not gonna give information about their house or their mortgage to it. And they do. I mean, the AI will literally like, are you interested in selling your house? And they'll be like, yeah. And there'll be a little 5-second pause. And they'll be like, hello? Oh, that's great, Susan. How much are you looking to sell it for? 150,000. And it will, 5 minutes, it literally will answer all the info, and it's creepy, but it's $20 a lead. So it's
cheap.
Yeah, you don't have to lead gen anymore. It's
What's your biggest fear with AI?
The singularity. So I don't know, anybody here, so singularities are, Ray Kurzweil, the genius, the guy who actually started all this natural language stuff and invented synthesizers when he was a kid. He talks about the singularity. Now, singularity is like you got a black hole in space, and it's so much gravity that it bends light. And it bends light so much that you can't actually see it anymore. And that's what he means by a singularity, is when you look at something and things are so bent out of shape that you can't see what's on the other side. And he coined the term singularity as like, he's a futurist. So futurists are always predicting the future. Okay, in 10 years, this is where we're gonna be. You know, cell phones are this big, they're gonna be this big. What his biggest fear was that when he tries to predict the future and he looks out 10 years and he's like, I don't even know what's gonna happen. And the singularity gets shorter and shorter with every decade that goes by. He's afraid that he's gonna look out 6 months and say, I can't even imagine what's gonna happen next. And that's happening right now with AI. Nobody, like, you see how fast, like, ChatGPT popped up, and all of a sudden I think there's 800 different, like, AI models out on this website called Hugging Face. It's mind-boggling, and that's only the ones that are public and open source. There's so much stuff that's actually being hidden behind corporate walls and who knows what DARPA's doing. I mean, DARPA might actually have like an intelligent AI that's literally, they're trying to kind of contain, you know, and keep off the grid. You know, I don't know, but that's what I'm worried about, is when I can't even see what's around the corner anymore. And then I don't think we're gonna just be taken over or anything, but it gets scary because, you know, these are tools, and just like a nuclear bomb, nuclear power is great, but it can be used in the wrong hands, it could be dangerous. And that's kind of the fear of, you get a few programmers in a rogue country that decide to create a virus or basically just wipe out all the data in the world, and, you know, then it can happen.
One more question, anybody have?
Yeah, let's not end on
One more. One more GPT. Yeah.
What's the best
Last
stock to buy?
What's that?
Best stock?
stocks.
Stocks?
He's not.
Yeah, don't trust in it. You know, honestly, there are potted plants that perform better at stock market picks than any fund or any AI. So I would not invest in any of those. Here's the thing: AI companies are changing so rapidly that, I mean, whoever is like right now, ChatGPT is losing out to like Bard and a few others, and even these big three like ChatGPT, Bard, and Llama, which is being done by Facebook, you know, they could literally be just wiped out by an upstart so quickly. So, you know, I mean, if you want to invest in those, I'm not saying anything like that. I'm not a financial advisor, but, you know, just investing in Microsoft and Facebook, because they're throwing so much of their money into AI right now. Like right now, Facebook is building 3 different AI models that they're going to integrate into every single product that they're building right now. So you're going to literally have AI assistants where you can just ask it questions and it's just going to respond to you. They're going to start predicting your behavior and basically feeding you the information you want, or answering emails for you, or commenting on posts for you, because it knows that, yeah, you would have posted this on this, and yes, you want to get banned because you want to say this to this person. And who am I to argue with that? So, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrzej. That's good. Very big show. Awesome.